bottom, but not have it just be a poke vertical turn out of the top. So there's some personality that she's bringing to it, and that's why her scores are reflecting.
So Ziggy finding a left, getting through the pier there, couple of turns, and she's going to be on the fast track on her way back out. But Sophie taking the same paddle, I feel, on the north side of the pier to also get out there and reestablish priority. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, looking at the clock, it's not going to matter.
It's a Friday, July 31st. The weekend is upon us. It's hot all out west. We're going to see temperatures near record level, maybe a couple records in the desert southwest. 120 degrees possible in some places. We'll take a look at the Super Typhoon Dolphin and Genevieve. We'll look at the smoke. There's a new fire burning along the Sonoma coastline. We'll check in on that. There's smoke concerns. You're seeing some of the smoke here coming off the Oregon fires, which has been causing problems for places like Glacier. The surf along the coast continues. It is good size, and there are some sets. We'll take a look at the wedge today and show you some 6 to 8 foot waves that are generally going to subside, but then they pulse back up with a very active Pacific. So welcome to you. We're going to do this all using computer models. If you want and you don't want to sit through all the Weather Service headlines, which are next, and the computer models will be in a chapter description. So if you scrub, you'll see them, and the computer models will be concise and quick, and you can get the forecast that way. You'll get the forecast this way as well, because we're doing weather all encompassing. It's not a 2-minute weathercast like we used to do in TV. It's a long form, learn something, feel good, California love letter, you name it, it is what it is. We'll go to Nature Snacks as well. We'll take a look at Catherine Breed, who is swimming the 900-mile stretch of the California coastline. I actually know a couple people involved in this, and they're awesome, and they're crushing it right now. She's almost 250 miles into a 900-mile run. This is the visible satellite image. There is that smoke, and you can clearly see the westerly flow, right? So Cascades, right? And then you see the flow of cloud cover moving into Idaho and Montana. It has been prolific smoke. Some of the worst air quality in the world right now on the west coast of the United States right here. We'll look at that in a minute. Fog along the coast, pretty sparse. Pretty sparse, not a lot of inversion here. The fires have been helped. The Sonoma County fire has been helped a bit by the onshore wind, but it's not robust, but it's enough to add humidity. So we'll take a look at all of this. Let's take a look at the world air quality, right? And this is purple air. I'm not sure how many sensors they have in Libya, but you get the idea. You're looking at the worst air quality I can see on the planet Earth right now in the Pacific Northwest, with some values that are very unhealthy. Those real dark purples, that's 24-hour exposure. If you're Jack LaLanne at 35 years old, that will mess with you. Remember Jack LaLanne? He's awesome. He just passed, God rest his soul. This is Glacier. Lake McDonald, I believe. Yeah, Lake McDonald. And that's what it looks like. And if you're doing a deal where you finally get a chance to have a summer vacation and you get to go to Glacier, and this is what you bump into, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. And the fire concern is going to grow as we get into the next few days, because it's going to warm up. And that's why we talked about it yesterday. And oh, by the way, thanks for signing up, all you guys. I got a bunch of new subscribers. You guys are cool. This is awesome. And it's rewarding because we're all kind of the same dude. I'm just a meteorologist and geographer from Berkeley. I've been doing it a long time. I'm just curating. You guys are building this thing. So here is, and you can find all these mess. When I mean curating angle, you can find this on my links page. You can find all this stuff, and you can do it yourself, or you can just go along for the ride. Here is, and a sixth generation kids, Californian, who is big time into California. Just am. I am. A lot of California bashing going on the last few years. I'm tired of it. This is the high pressure ridge. And that's why that's the upper elevation, right? So I draw these in all the time to show you the heat is under the ridge, the cooler air is above the ridge, and in this heat dome out west, you've got air quality alerts, you've got fire alerts, you've got smoke alerts, you've got watches, warnings, coastal. I mean, it is lit up, and by tomorrow, you're going to see these oranges extended probably up towards the Redding area, oranges being heat advisory. So it's a very active heat period. Heat's a thing because it affects everybody, right? It's not like a flood that affects one region, a location. It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere, and it really gets into. It's talked about it yesterday. I was listening to psychiatrists talk about it, saying that when people get really hot and kind of sketchy, their cortisol levels go up, and they do dumb things. They get in car wrecks, they road rage, whatever. I mean, it's a thing, and you don't think the heat affects you because you're Jack LaLanne at 33, but it affects Jack LaLanne at 33. So does the air quality. I used to like that guy. Okay, so this is a fire. This is the Sonoma County fire. It started yesterday. It's on the coast, so they have pretty good flow of wind. It's kind of westerly, northwesterly, so humidities aren't bad. So that's why we're seeing 30% containment. The acreage has not grown much. I think we got a cool kind of video here. I could try this out. I don't know if that's going to work. Oh, yeah. So I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if that blows up. No, it doesn't. But that's the fire. That's yesterday, I believe. Pretty sure. Yeah, that was yesterday. But you can see where it is. And again, you got to realize fuel moistures in this area, because you're kind of south of Salt Point, fuel moistures in these areas are pretty significantly high because of the coastal fog. It's not been that aggressive this year, but it's still. This is the smoke model. It's not picking up the smoke from that fire, but it's picking up the smoke from the Oregon fires. And I was watching the Weather Channel this morning, as I'm apt to do, and that's the model. And you see the plume, and you can see not much has changed. And the smoke origin here, the smoke's worse here because it's lower to the ground. And the smoke is worse in the morning. When the inversion settles down, cooler air sinks, so the smoke sinks with it. Same thing in the late night, early morning, smoke bad. It lifts during the day and just becomes yucky. But in the mornings, it's when that PM 2.5, the particulate matter, 2.5 microns, can get more condensed and more dense and into your lungs. And that's what it's measuring. It's not measuring ozone. It's measuring particulate matter, so smoke. As you go down the way, as you get towards South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, you're dealing with higher up in elevation. This is a wedge. I just pulling this live, man. So they're calling it 6 to 8, but that's at south swell. Now you're facing this place places a little bit south. It doesn't feel like it because you're looking at the ocean, but you're faced a little bit to the south. So the swell's getting in, and that'll mess you up. I'd hate to be a lifeguard at the wedge. I did numbers on rescues and savings and lifeguard. They're off the hook. Southern California this summer has been so busy, thousands and thousands of rescues. You're seeing it in the nightly news, that video up in Santa Cruz the other day. This kind of surf, really aggressive, really dangerous. So there's the wedge. This is Super Typhoon Dolphin. It's down to a Category 4, but a Category 4 and 5, we call that a 4 and 5 hurricane. A 4 and 5 is considered a super typhoon. It's a typhoon. People are going, well, Bill, it's not in the southern hemisphere. Yeah, it's once it crosses the date line, it's a typhoon, and this is Super Typhoon Dolphin, and then this is Genevieve, which is just lingering down here, and it's a tropical storm, and Hawaii is free and clear. Here is our weather system, right? And then you can see what I wanted to point out here was water temperature. So this is Dolphin right here, and it's going to go. It stays pretty significant because look at the water temperature. I don't know if you can see it, but the water temperature out here is all in the 80s. And it's a direct stair step to Japan and these eastern areas or these western Pacific areas because the water it's a stair step. It's continuous 80-degree water. That's why this thing is going to hold water and literally and last right up to probably make landfall as a Cat 1 hurricane, most likely. It does cool a little bit along the coast. And then Genevieve, you can see the difference here. Look at the water temperature, 76. Off Hawaii, 78. 79, close. 80. There's the sweet spot. And this is why Genevieve, Fausto never became a hurricane because it was up here in the 78-degree water. It's kind of that simple. So hurricanes need warm water to exist. The swell coming from the southern hemisphere, you can see it way down there, and then you can see the swell along the west coast. But the southern hemisphere is still delivering, look at that, still delivering swell towards the north. And we will see that in the coming weeks because it is an El Nino year, a good El Nino, not like it's a moderate El Nino already. Once they do the 3-month Ronnie average, they're going to be into a strong El Nino most likely. It's not considered that yet. And potentially a very strong El Nino. So the equatorial Pacific's really warm, and what we're seeing, I think, is not a direct. Well, there's a correlation, right, between these hurricanes that we're seeing. This super typhoon, Genevieve, Fausto. These are the forecast highs for today. Welcome again. I hope you're having a good day. Best way to do this is, again, scrub through if you want to get to the models. They're coming up next. Or just sit back with a cup of coffee. I got some cool stuff. We're going to look at, I actually think I got some river surfers today up in Boise. You say Boise. And I'm pretty impressed with this potential 120 down towards Vegas and that area this next few days to set a record. They could see some records down in that region. Weather Service headlines. So these were today's highs for California. Tomorrow will be warmer still. It's very warm. Sacramento, just getting close to 100 degrees. It's been cool summer in Sacramento, but starting tomorrow, not so. These are my friends in Sacramento saying, hey, dude, it's going to get hot, right? So these are the forecast highs for today. We saw that, but they're going to get warmer tomorrow. Weather Service out of San Francisco is saying, hey, the heat advisory, get ready for it. The thing about the Bay Area, though, the coastal valleys, the Bay Valleys, are going to be hot, 90s. You'll see coming up that there is a sea breeze that seems to continue, that doesn't cut off as it typically does in a weather system like this. So we'll take a look at that. High surf advisory along the coast, Southern California. When haven't they had an extreme heat warning, extreme heat advisory? And also, I'm getting nonstop notes from you guys talking about the humidity, like in Southern California. And what does El Nino do? It creates more, it has the potential, just because you can't see cloud cover doesn't mean the humidity isn't inching up a little as that warm water moves further towards the north, which we just looked at. So if you take 85-degree downtown LA and you inch up the humidity a couple clicks, you notice it, and that's what's happening. Dangerous rip currents, yeah, absolutely dangerous rip currents. And then these are some of the numbers. Phoenix wants to go 116 on Saturday, 106 in Globe, which, by the way, I don't know where Globe is. I'll have to take a look at a map on that. This is the low pressure center, which, again, is it supposed to be here? No, it's unusual. It's unusual. Bill, why do you keep saying that? Because it's not supposed to be there. It's there in the winter, and it rains and snows. Usually you have more of a high pressure center there. That low is contributing to pushing the smoke out, which is awesome. It's also contributing to a kind of a weaker inversion along the coast. And you can look at the fog. That's nothing. That's just not a lot going on, even in Southern California. The models, this is C 500 millibar, 18,000 foot anomalies. Orange is warmer than average. Blue is cooler than average. That makes it simple. Just keep an eye on us right here. I'll put a circle around this too. And you can see it intensify tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be probably the warmest day. It backs off a little on Sunday, but still above average orange, except in Oregon and Washington, right? That's all I'm doing is look at the colors. I'm not reading those little teeny numbers. Now, you could; those are geopotential heights, but then that helps too. But you'll notice those numbers are higher in the oranger areas. They're lower in the bluer areas. And then it heats up again. See, the secondary ridge comes in on Tuesday. I know. And then what the hell's going on in Canada? Look at that. Look at that on Friday. So this is going to be a run of heat. Biblical, no. Long, yes. So I mean, look at these above average temperatures up in here, up in the Gulf of Alaska. So anomalies, these are anomalies as well. This is, but at 850 millibars. So this is be temperature, same idea. Orange is above average, blue below, but these are temperatures at about 5,000 feet. And I just want you to see, how's that work? Where's that? Oh, hang on a second. I got to get the right date on this. Sorry about that. Okay. So there is the pulse from today, above average temperatures, right? Pulse for tomorrow, above average temperatures, well above, especially like Tahoe area, LA. Everybody, northern part of the state, Del Norte County, not too bad, but you get the idea. Look at these above normal, and look at the desert Southwest. Look at the Four Corners region. This is day after day after day of above average temperatures. That will wear on you. That's next Friday. I know, this is next Saturday. So does it happen? Hard to say, but the models think it does. This is the piece that befuddles me a little bit, but I think that low ties into this. This is the sea breeze. And as long as you see that, San Francisco stays, on a heat wave in the low 80s. Bay Area stays in the low 90s. It doesn't get extreme heat. And same, the Sacramento thing, I think they're going to get extreme heat, but I think they're going to get a little sea breeze. Apparently, if you buy the models, every afternoon, see that center line, that's in the evening. That's just showing you most likely a westerly flow. So it keeps coming, even on. I wonder if it comes out Friday. Let's see. Sorry to do this to you. Okay, so basically, the heat's there, but there's still this component of a delta breeze. It's not as robust, but it's going to cool you off a little bit at night. Instead of being 90 degrees at midnight, it'll be 78 degrees at midnight. This is the forecast highs. These are the forecast highs for tomorrow. Yeah. So probably a little high, 110 in Red Bluff. There's that 106 in Sacramento. I think that's a little warm, but you get the idea. These are tomorrow's highs. Look at this. I mean, GFS, again, model. There's other models. This is just, so let's go to Saturdays. Because I think, hang on, that is Saturday. That's tomorrow. And then we'll go to Sunday. Yeah, so this is hot. I know. And then rainfall, where's that monsoonal moisture? It kind of doesn't really happen. It showed it a little yesterday and shows it a little here, but that's all the way out. So we're not really seeing any monsoonal moisture at this point, which might be a good thing, keeping the fire danger down. Because you get those monsoons and you get after a run of heat like this, we're already going to see extreme fire danger north to South California. We're already going to see extreme fire danger because of the heat and low humidity. But we're in pretty good shape in terms of not seeing lightning strikes, because that's the kind of thing that could really trigger something here. This is Mount Shasta. Looking at my notes, because I got notes now. I'm trying to go a little quicker too than usual. Mount Shasta today will be in the 80s and low 90s even. It's hard to get 90s when you get above 6,000 feet because of the air density. This is Kuski. I love that place. It's so pretty. It's a drive though, man, right? That's the north coast of California. That's ours, man. That's why it costs so much to live here, because you can get in a car from Healdsburg and be there, and what would it take you from Healdsburg? A couple hours? Hour and a half? Yeah, maybe an hour and a half. That's not bad. And then this is the inversion. This is at that point. So you can see the fog is kind of non-existent. And what I'm picking up from the sounding are north winds here. You can see, you can't see them on this side. There's a wind chart on this side of the page. And then you can just see the dry upper air with a low surface inversion. Very weak. None of it looks strong. I think that low pressure is indicating that. This is New Melones, I believe. And is this New Melones? Doggone it. Let me check again. That's the Nevada Seismic Lab. Oh, no, so this would be Union Reservoir. It was started by the Union Water Company. The Union Water Company built reservoirs and canals back during the gold rush for hydraulic mining. So this was a lake that they had used for that. It's at almost 5,000 feet. and it's used for hydroelectric and some downstream watering. So that's the Union Reservoir, which a lot of folks up in Grass Valley use quite a bit. This is New Melones, 1978. It was created. Looks, you can see this the scar around the edge. That shows you how much water's come out of it. We're going to look at it officially. 2.4 acres. Flood control, irrigation. Flood control and irrigation. And then this is the water level. I think this is New Melones. Yeah. And you can see their averages at 112 degrees. And New Melones was the town, mining. It was a mining district town, but it was flooded by the reservoir. Yeah, 2.4 million feet. It's big. 2.4 million acre feet, not 1 million, 2.4. And so let's see how the water's coming out of it. And you can kind of see they're not draining a lot out, are they? So you can see where that's the trace. I think you get it. This is where it should be. And this is where it is. So, and the capacity, the capacities, they're using it. Yeah, they got a lot of capacity to fill. New Melones, mining town. And it was, what was that? This is the avenues. I got to figure out a better place to put the notes for my weather notes, because I kind of want to look like I'm making stuff up out of my head, but I got to kind of look at this because I didn't remember it was 1978 on the dam. But I remember when they built it, they got a big stink on that one too. A lot of folks were pissed because they'd been damming everything up, the California Water Project. And so anything that went in, there was a lot, and rightfully so. That's Mount Tamalpais off in the distance. No, very little fog. Those are the avenues. That's Golden Gate Park in the foreground right here. There, and that's the avenues, or Richmond. Golden Gate Bridge, Mount Tamalpais, the most beautiful place in the world. Today, me and the lovely wife are riding bikes over to Marin and taking the ferry over to Angel Island and doing a lap, which is fun. You can put your bikes on the ferry, which is kind of fun. This is the, I pulled up the sounding from the fire zone. This is from the Woodside fire in Sonoma Coast. It's burning at Salt Point State Park, which is beautiful. It's 143 acres, but they're 30% contained. And the Highway 1 is closed. That's probably the big story on this. Highway 1's closed at that point. Salt Point, which is kind of by Fort Ross. But the inversion's pretty dry. There's not much fog, but the winds, you can't see them. Again, they're on this side. But the winds are blowing westerly at about 5 to 10 knots, which westerly brings in a moisture flow, which is why we're seeing 30% containment. There's Salinas Valley. Temperatures today will be warm. This is Santa Barbara. Beautiful. And Santa Barbara today, what are you going to be in Santa Barbara today? You're going to be 86 degrees in Santa Barbara today. Well, that's not Santa Barbara. That's Santa Barbara. So it's going to be warm. It's going to be warm everywhere. Let's face it. This is Victorville. I did get some, or Lancaster. It's named for Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So people came out west. They started naming. Dude, that's the thing you got to get. Like, this is the other thing that happened too. When surfers first started surfing the California coast, especially up north, even we used to name our own breaks because there weren't names for breaks that much. I'm not that old, but we'd find some little funky little reef break north of Point Arena, and me and my buddy'd surf it, and then we'd name it after ourselves, right? We'd name it D and B's, Dan and Bill's. I always thought it should be Bill and D's, Bill and Dan's, but D and B's, which no one calls it that, but sometimes if you call it something enough, like South Lot, or we had some funny names, but my point is, the pioneers came west, and they're like, dude, we just got to start naming stuff. So they started naming stuff. They did. Skeeter Creek, right? In this case, it's Lancaster, which was Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and it's by Edwards Air Force Base, and it's a huge innovator and leader in renewable energy, solar and wind. Bakersfield right now, 80 degrees, 88 degrees. It's going to be hot. Lancaster right now, 78 degrees. Oh, Lancaster is kind of high. That's the thing. This I didn't know. Lancaster is at over almost 2,500 feet. Because you don't realize that. But so that's why it's a little cooler, right? Victorville's at 88. 10 degrees warmer. So, and Los Angeles is about, 81 degrees. So we're getting it. It's on, and it's going to be a prolonged event, this heat thing. There's the air quality from looking Mount San Jacinto and out towards the LA basin. And air quality today, inversion, not that strong. Fog, not really happening. And air quality today is going to be, what do you think? Oh, yeah. Didn't see that coming. You guys get a little worse today out towards Long Beach. And then this is the swell energy. This is, we're into nature snacks now. And I just wanted you to see that southern, this is just interval between, this is the seconds. We call between wave crests. And see this coming from the southern hemisphere. This is next week. Look at that. Look at that. That's some energy. So we're still seeing southern hemisphere swell. And we're also seeing, we're going to probably next week, I suspect, see more tropical storm activity in our equatorial Pacific just close to us. This is Santa Cruz. Yesterday looked good. Today looks, I know. That doesn't look fun. Yeah. I mean, it is fun. Surfing's fun. Ooh, foggy. That's Steamer Lane. Santa Cruz. This is County Line. One of the things you were looking for, I was thinking about this peak, but see you go, where do you surf? Well, you need a sandbar. And so that's a sandbar. And you're like, of course it's a sandbar, but see how it comes out a little further? That's a rip, actually. But you need something that looks like, has an angle on, like, so these are all kind of closeouts. Like this will go left, that's a left. You could go for a while, actually. Yeah, he's going. See, so that was a good left. And see the triangle it makes? That's the sandbar. And this next wave is probably going to pull a right. Barely. So it's kind of, that's, if you ever wonder what surfers look for, sandbars, that's what you look for. This is Malibu, which looked good. I saw some good Malibu waves earlier. And then the wedge. And then this is Catherine. I think this is Catherine B. They did a thing on her in the morning news. So she is attempting to become the first person to swim the 900-mile California coastline. All my friends know her and love her. She's a local. She went to Berkeley. She's just south of Point Arena. She's already swum 245 miles completed. She's brave as hell. She's got support boats and stuff, but I would be terrified. I'm scared of sharks. I mean, I've seen them. I've been out with them. I've been chased out of the water. But I prefer not to be deep in the water with them. And she's deep in the water with them. So she is awesome. So we'll keep an eye on her. So she's moved along 240 miles, 250 miles completed. She's finding currents, which is pretty smart, in wind direction. She was an All-American at Berkeley. So anyway, she's awesome. Catherine, we'll keep an eye on her. Sachi Cunningham, who you may know is a big contributor to her efforts, and so Sachi gives me little bits and pieces here and there. This is Jackie. I know she's coming back, I hope, but she's just having it's tough sledding, even though she is on the recovery. We'll keep an eye on that. This is the Brooks Bears. This salmon run, the sockeye salmon run, is in full swing, and it's funny because the Bears, it looks like it's raining up there. The Bears are like, we're not over it, but we're taking a little break. This is Wency, the baby eagle. I'm running out of time as usual. I want to get to River. She's beautiful. The baby's the coloring. These are osprey. She lost 2 of her brothers and sisters. This is river surfing in Boise. And let me tell you a little something about river surfers. I don't know what to tell you. These are everywhere now, though, and they make little weirs, and then they create these backflows. Problem with this is they don't really learn surfing etiquette. You learn how to stand up on a board. I know I'm kind of being a dick right now. Like I was using a glass board, which is interesting because they get dinged up pretty bad. Most guys use foam. And you got to stand in line, and they get pretty crowded. See the line developing down there? But they don't. You river surfers really need to, when you come to the ocean, it's not a river. It's not you don't get in line. There's etiquette rules. I know I sound like a jerk, but there you go. It is. I've done it a few. I did the one up in Bend. This is Venice Beach. So that was kind of fun. We got a lot done. Thanks a lot for chiming in. Tell a friend. Appreciate you guys. Put in where you're from too. Please, subscribe would be awesome. You know what's weird? I never subscribe to anything. So here I'm asking you to subscribe, and I'm like, God, what a jerk. Because it's a big commitment. But I promise you, I'll promise you, that guy's kind of cool. I like that. That I'll do my best every day. That's all I do. I do my best. I'm not always right about everything. Sometimes I'm wrong about things, but I do my best every day. Yeah, that feels good. See you back here.